Hey, and welcome to Girl Be Free, a podcast designed to help women get unstuck and cultivate the life you want on your terms. I'm Siobhan, your host, and I'm passionate about empowering women to live their best life. Each week, you'll hear pep talks that will inspire and push you to take action so you too can start to be free and live the life you want. You can learn more about me at BeFreeProject.com. Now let's jump into the show. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Girl Be Free podcast. As always, thank you for allowing me to be in your ears once again. So this week I am loving actually a comment that was left on my page on Instagram. And it says, "Hi, my name is Courtney and I am from Greenwood, Indy area. I listened to your podcast for the first time today and I am hooked. Your tone is so calming and your words are real. I am listening to You Deserve currently. I hope you have a blessed day." So this comment really made my day. And again, thank you so much, Courtney, if you're listening, because I love hearing back from my listeners. And when you guys leave reviews on iTunes and you send me emails or you leave messages on Instagram, that really makes my day because it lets me know that the work that I am putting out, it is sitting on good ground and that you are really enjoying the content that I'm sharing. So keep the comments coming and maybe I can shout out more people as you continue to let me know what you think about the podcast. And as always, don't keep the podcast to yourself. Make sure that you're subscribing to the channel and then you're also sharing it with friends. So on to today's topic, which is you deserve a quality life. So this week's this week's topic was stemmed from a conversation that I had this past week at my Be Free Meetup. So as you know, I host monthly events here in Cleveland, Ohio. And this past weekend was the Be Free Meetup where I get women together to network and have inspiring conversations. So it was a packed room, a really great audience, great conversation, lots of networking going on. And it was just, I always feel so full just from hearing the stories of all the women in the room. And it just lets you know that we are all on this journey together and we're working to be our best selves. So as we were having a conversation, one of the questions that I posed to the audience came from the Free Your Mind journal. And the question was, what do you owe yourself? And as each woman went around sharing what she felt she owed herself, one response in particular really stood out to me, and that came from Miss Denise. And she shared how she's now retired and she's traveling more and volunteering at a local hospital, and she loves to spend time with her husband. But the one thing that stood out is that she said she owes herself a quality of life. And I was like, yes, Miss Denise, yes, we all owe ourselves a quality of life, right? And my feedback for the audience was, I don't want us, because she's retired, and so she said at this stage in her life, that's what she feels like she owes herself. But I don't want us to wait until we're retired. I don't care if you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, 50s, 60s, shoot, even 70s. Like, you deserve a quality of life in this very moment. I don't want you to wait until you feel like you experience so much of life with working and taking care of the kids and taking care of everybody else. No, you owe yourself a quality of life right now in this very moment. And I remember several years ago when I was still working in corporate America and I was reading O Magazine, and it was a reader who had written in and she stated how she had worked for 50 plus years and now she can finally live her life. And I remember that like I read it yesterday because when I read that, I was like, oh my goodness, she worked for over 50 years and now she feels like she could live. I do not want to wait that long before I can really experience life. And I think I know that has always been in the back of my mind ever since reading that. And so when I decided to launch Be Free Project, or even before that, when I got laid off from my job, I knew that I wanted to experience life in this very moment. And so if that meant me taking a chance on myself and figuring out the things that I wanted to do to live a more fulfilling life, then that was worth it to me. And me walking in my purpose and doing the work that I do today, like that is me having a quality of life. And so when you think about a quality of life and what that looks like and why you deserve it, it's going to look a little bit different to all of us, right? Because you define what quality looks like. That is very subjective and it's very personal. But what I honestly feel is that a quality of life should bring you peace and it should bring you joy. And so that can range from your environment, your atmosphere, your career, your wealth, your lifestyle, what you choose to do for fun, traveling, even your habits and behaviors. Like we all are going to have a different view on what quality means in our own personal lives, and that is completely fine. That's the same way as that we would all define success differently because it's going to look differently in all, in all of our lives, however you define success. So, me being me, I always have to share some I guess practical things that you can start to apply. So if you want to start to think about, okay, well, what does a quality life look like for me? And how do I want to show up in my life? And how can I feel good inside and out? And what can I do to really have rich experiences and live a great life that goes beyond my basic needs? So that's what I want you to keep in the forefront of your mind. So, here are some practical things that you can do to start to improve your quality of life. Now, I'm going to share a few things, but I'm going to go into more detail this week on the blog. So make sure that you're following BeFreeProject.com and checking out my blog because there's lots of articles there. But I'm going to give you a few practical things that you can do today. However, in the blog is going to be at least 20 of them. So keep that in mind and make sure you go back and check out the blog. So number one, on how to improve your quality of life is to read a book. So find a book that you can get lost in and lose track of time and carve out about 15 to 30 minutes a day to read something. So maybe if not a book, maybe read a blog post, an article, a magazine, anything that you can read that will again, expand your mind or something that you can get lost into. And you can carve out time in the beginning of the day. Maybe you take your lunch break and you read, or maybe you read before you go to bed. But sometime throughout the day, I want you to carve out at least 15 to 30 minutes just reading something. I like to check out medium.com if you're looking for a blog post to read or what have you. Definitely feel free to go to befreeproject.com/blog to read some articles that I have written. I also have a list of, I believe, I have a list. I would just say that because I can't remember exactly how many on my website that you can find a great book to read as well. So that's number one. Number two is to practice gratitude. So I talk about this on the podcast all the time. But I think when you start to practice gratitude, and that's simply just being thankful for everything that you're experiencing in your life, big or small, just being grateful for the moment. So I think I've shared this before, but what you can do is simply write down every single day 5 things that you are grateful for. And that can be as something as small as enjoying your cup of coffee, to being grateful for your family, having a roof over your head, having a job or a business or something like that. Just every day, make sure that you're practicing gratitude and try to write down something different every day, right? So you're not just writing the same thing over and over again. The next one is, and this is something that you probably feel like, oh, that's a little quirky, but I want you to smile. And trust me on this, right? So when you smile, you will start to send happiness to others and it helps you cope with life stresses. So when I'm out and about, I do my best. Like if I see someone in passing and we catch eye contact or something like that, I will smile. And that's my way of saying hi and just to send out positive energy into the world, right? And it will make you feel good about yourself. So try smiling more often. Another one is I want you to think about as it relates to improving your quality of life is to attend a workshop or even take a free challenge that I'm going to mention to you at the end of this podcast. But learn something new and start to network and connect with others who are on the same wavelength as you. So I would love for you to check out my events. Again, I have Be Free Life classes and Be Free meetups every single month. So I don't care where you're located, you can definitely come hang out with me. So that's something, or check out meetup.com, where you can find different workshops and different meetups that's happening in your area. But challenge yourself to learn something new. And again, I'm going to help share a challenge at the end of this podcast that you can check out as well. Let's see here. Also, take a road trip. Maybe even take a solo road trip. So think of somewhere that you can travel to, where you can get in about 3 to 4 hours and enjoy having some alone time by yourself. Check out the scenery, turn up your music. If you're a fan of Beyonce, she is always perfect to listen to on a road trip. But find some good music, check out the scenery, and just enjoy the moment. And maybe you go somewhere for a day, or maybe you spend a weekend or a couple of days or something like that. But a solo road trip would definitely help you to start to improve your quality of life, and again, help you to start having rich experiences. This is something that I need to do more, but celebrate yourself. All right. So big or small, do something daily to celebrate your wins. So whether that's treating yourself to your favorite glass of wine, maybe getting a facial, or having your favorite meal from your favorite restaurant, do something daily. Again, it can be small, it can be big, whatever you choose, but celebrate yourself. And this is really for me because I don't do a good job with celebrating myself. And that's probably a whole nother podcast for another day. But I need to do a better job at really celebrating my wins and just taking time to really think about, okay, this was something great that has happened. Let's pause, let's take a minute, and let's celebrate this great thing that has happened in your life. Next is to hang out with your besties. So there is nothing like girls' nights. With your best girlfriends. So I've shared this before. I have best friends that have been in my life for 23, 24 years. And every time we get together, it's always like old times. We laugh, we have good conversation, good food, it seems like most of the times. And it's just a really good time. And again, that's going to bring joy in your life, especially if you have people that add value to your life and you know that it will be a good time. So that will be really good. Let's see. And then I'm going to give you, one more thing, and that is positive self-talk. So what you say to yourself matters. So I want you to focus on positive self-talk and being kind to yourself, because what you believe about yourself matters, what you say to yourself matters. So you really want to focus on speaking life over yourself. And if you need help, don't you worry, I got you. I created a deck of 31 Girl Be Free affirmation cards, where basically there's 31 cards with different affirmations that you can recite and meditate on daily. And definitely check out, because this is something else that I love this week. Tiffany, who follows me on Instagram, she purchased a deck of cards this past weekend at the Be Free Meetup, and she created a whole Girl Be Free affirmation wall. And it's so cute. So definitely go to my Instagram page at Be Free Project, because I posted it there and I tagged her. But I thought it was so cute. So definitely get the Girl Be Free affirmation cards, and that will help you with the positive self-talk. So those are a few things that you can start to do to improve your quality of life. As I stated, I'm going to list a total of 20 things on the blog this week. So totally check that out. And I hope that this podcast was inspiring. But as Miss Denise said, and I agree with her, we all deserve a good quality of life. And I don't care what stage of life you're in. And I don't want you to be in a space where you're waiting till the kids are grown, or you're waiting till you get to this certain place in your job, or you make more money, or whatever that thing is that we always tell ourselves that we're waiting for, that perfect moment before we do something. You can take some of the practical tips that I just shared with you and start to improve the quality of your life right now. You do not have to wait until, I don't know, some perfect time, because it's actually right now. So your action step for this week is to choose at least 2 things that I shared today and actually apply them to your life. So if you have to go back and listen to this podcast again, totally do that. But your action step this week is to choose 2 things that I shared today that you're going to start to apply to your life so that you can improve the quality of your life and start to have rich experiences. So I want you, and then share it. Reach out to me on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. You can find me at Be Free Project and let me know which ones are you going to apply to your life, or you can shoot me an email, and all of the details for what I just shared will be in the show notes. So coming up, I have an announcement. I am having the Be Free Life Class Clarity Crash Course Workshop on February 24th. And so if you are someone who feels lost and you feel like you're just going through the motions and existing through life, and you need help with getting clarity because you don't know if you're coming or going, definitely register for that workshop. The link will be in the show notes for you to take a look at that. Whether you're in the area or not, I would love to see you. And what else? Oh, and then the last thing is, so I don't know if I'm gonna do this every episode, but whenever I come across some good music, I am going to share it because, as I stated, I absolutely love music, right? And so I am listening to the Black Panther soundtrack. And y'all, like, I was at Starbucks working yesterday, and I was there for a couple of hours too, and that album was on repeat, and I know I listened to it at least 3 times. So it is so good. Lots of Kendrick Lamar. So if you love him like I do, then totally check it out. It's a number of artists on there that I've never even heard of, but from the beginning to the end, that album is everything. So definitely check that out and let me know what you think. I will also list the details for the free challenge, which is called 5 Days to a Mindset Shift. So if you're interested in shifting your mindset and doing the inner work, I'll drop the link for the challenge in the show notes. So as always, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this podcast or any of the previous episodes, make sure that you are subscribed. Share this podcast with a friend, and you can listen on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or Google Play. So until next time, girl, be free. Thank you so much for listening. Your support means the world to me. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling really fancy, go ahead and leave a review. Until next time, be free and live.